Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. News on the campaign trail in Barbados takes center stage in this edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 18th January 2022. Details when we return.
Conveniently located in the Grand Anne Shopping Centre, for over 40 years, Food Fair has provided quality service at affordable prices. Now, grocery shopping is made easier and more convenient from the Food Fair web store.
Hey, babe. Listen, I need you to go down to Food Fair to get some groceries.
All right, no problem. Right away.
Thanks, babe. What are you doing? You're supposed to be going Food Fair to get a grocery, man.
I am, but didn't you know you can order your groceries online from the Food Fair web store?
Are you serious?
Of course. All you have to do is just to log on to www.foodfair.gd with credit card in hand, and with an order of $100 or more, Food Fair Grand Anse will deliver up to 3 miles away. And you don't even have to worry about your information, you know. Their safety measures are excellent.
So hold on. You just order online and Food Fair will deliver to you?
Yep.
Oh, baby, better hurry up and order, man.
I already did. They should be here any minute now.
Enjoy easy online shopping anytime from your home or office from the Food Fair web store. Food Fair, where you can fill your baskets without emptying your pockets.
Welcome back. Barbados' general election takes place tomorrow, Wednesday, 19th January, 17 months ahead of its constitutional due date. A serious challenge to the charges leveled against the Prime Minister by childhood friend and the opposition DLP president says Barbadians should heed recent warnings about the Prime Minister.
Afraid of what? That's the question veteran Barbados Labour Party member and Ambassador Elizabeth Thompson posed in response to claims made by former government minister Senator Lucy Moore that she had grown afraid of Prime Minister Mia Mottley. Moore, who was relieved of ministerial duties last year, said power has changed Mottley and she's concerned about democracy in the country. But at a political meeting last evening at Watton Christchurch, Thompson rubbished the charges.
We are told to be afraid of Mia Mottley. The Bible says, by their deeds you shall know them. Let's look at Mottley. She and some of her team years ago had a falling out or whatever happened. They changed leaders. Mottley came back and put those very same people into her cabinet. They were part of her team and they stand loyally behind her tonight. Nobody abused or treated Mia Mottley worse than Owen Arthur. There was nothing he did not say about her, or there was nothing good that he said about her when he was ready. She came back as Prime Minister and treated him with the utmost graciousness, the greatest magnanimity, the most generosity, and then delivered the eulogy at his funeral. You can't ask for more than that. Where is the cruelty? Where is the despotism? So when we are told that you have to be afraid of this woman, afraid of what? We have seen how she has treated those who have wielded blows against her, those who have wounded her. So we know that she is not a vindictive or cruel woman. We have seen it. We know that she puts service above self because we have seen it.
Thompson, who shared her story of being sacked as Minister of Health in 1999 by then Prime Minister Owen Arthur, suggested Moore, a former confidant of Mottley, needed to reflect on her statements.
That a Prime Minister has the right to choose who or she wants in his or her cabinet. It is not an entitlement, and your ego must not get so big that you put self before service. You must accept that when the Prime Minister calls you and says, come, you come in silence and you smile. And when the Prime Minister tells you go, you bloody well pack up and go in silence and you smile. And you say to the nation what I said to Owen Arthur, Thank you, Prime Minister, for the opportunity to serve. You don't go nowhere and abuse the Prime Minister. You don't go nowhere and abuse the party leader. You don't refuse to go in the Parliament and draw the money and refuse to go in the Parliament and talk on behalf of the people of the country. And I want the people who are doing that, if there's anybody who has behaved that way, to reflect on whether this is appropriate or not.
Pollster Peter Wickham also weighed in on the revelation made by Lucille Moore.
The regional pollster said the position outlined by Moore is in line with the DLP's messaging on the campaign trail. The party has been asking Barbadians to vote for democracy.
That is convenient, and I think it will work in many circles. However, the extent to which a political party that is as distinguished as the Democratic Labour Party has come to the stage where their full-page ad in the newspaper is telling people not to vote for them because they have a better team, but to vote for democracy because you really need to vote against the Barbados Labour Party and quote-unquote despotic leadership. It is something that I have some challenges understanding whether the public of Barbados will buy it, quite frankly. But you know what Lucille Moore did today, you know, in political circles, they say she played her hand and she played it magnificently. As to whether or not it's going to move the needle, I doubt it, because I have genuinely said that I don't believe that the Lucille Moores and the Lynette Holders of this world, because they're not candidates and because they're not really part of the national political conversation, can really move the needle significantly.
However, DLP President Verla de Pisa says the country should take heed to the warnings by Moore, who was a friend of the PM for over 50 years. De Pisa made the comments while addressing a national meeting in Deacon's Farm last night.
But what we have seen in the last 3.5 years is the exact opposite. A direct and frontal assault on our democracy has taken place before our very eyes. And I say that without fear of contradiction, because when somebody's best friend from school days can stand up and say, I cannot do this anymore, I have to put my country first, you know that you are dealing with uncertain and desperate times. When we can have individuals walking through and taking over the poster on every part of the island as though we are creating some sort of demigod in the country, and then telling me that because my poster not all about Barbados, that means that my people are not standing with me. It is because my people can stand on their own 2 feet.
With 2 days to go before general election, political scientists are predicting that Verla de Pisa will have an uphill battle to reclaim St. Lucie for the Democratic Labour Party. Speaking during Barbados Today's election pulse, Devon Bruce says the constituency has been one where the Dems have been losing ground for some time.
The fortunes of Verla de Pisa in St. Lucie might be a bit more rosier than what has been predicted. She does have some strengths up there. She's been working up there for the last 2 years. And again, the argument the party has been making is return the Dem seats home, so to speak. But regarding your question specifically, no, the Democratic Labour Party's constitution speaks to a political leader and it speaks to a president. Verla de Pisa is the president of the party. She is the assumed political leader as well too, because they don't have any parliamentary seats. But the real game begins in Parliament, and there's no guarantee that any political leader or whoever leads you into an election is guaranteed to be opposition leader. So I don't think that has ever been the case. We assume that's the case, but quite frankly, the game is on for whoever actually remains or gain their seats.
There were also some suggestions that de Pisa could face another leadership challenge once the January 19 poll is over. That's the view of noted UWI political scientist Dr. Christina Hines. Hines said that even if de Pisa is able to win her seat, there's no guarantee that she will remain the party's leader.
Those may well be St. Lucie. But if Ms. de Pisa is not able to win in St. Lucie, someone else who wins one of the seats, assuming that the DLP will win a few seats, will need to be selected as the leader of the opposition. And they will have to decide that among themselves. They're going to have to work that out one way or another. And I would also go as far as to say that even if Ms. de Pisa wins St. Lucie, we cannot be certain, depending on who the other people are, if she will end up as the leader of the opposition. And this is exactly what Chris Sinclair was alluding to today in the paper. and is again one of the things that I really wonder why he was saying, especially as a member of the DLP. I don't think that is the kind of thing that you want to say about your party so close to election day.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
Over in Trinidad, the opposition is criticizing the Prime Minister's announcement of a 5-member team to investigate the management of COVID-19 within the hospitals. 2 UNC MPs reiterated the party's calls for a commission of inquiry instead, claiming that it would yield much more information through a more transparent process. Reporter Cindy Raghubatika Singh of TV6 News tuned into the UNC virtual Sunday meeting conference and tells us more.
In June of last year, the UNC says its political leader wrote the Prime Minister requesting a commission of inquiry be set up to investigate the management of COVID-19. 31 areas were identified for review, including clinical management, social services, health regulations, border control, and COVID testing. It's why they don't believe the 5-member committee announced by Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley on Saturday will yield any real result, as it says this committee has 6 broad areas of review with just days to complete its work.
Why isn't this committee dealing with testing? Why is there no terms of reference in relation to testing? What about the efficiency of the parallel healthcare system? What about the working conditions of the medical staff? What about data collection? Because that data collection informs the COVID-19 regulations. And then you give this committee 1 week from January 17th to January 24, 2022 to report.
They're calling on the government once again to instead set up a commission of inquiry.
On that commission of inquiry, you have an independent chairman who has the power of a high court judge in order to summon witnesses and give evidence under oath to tell us exactly what is taking place.
So the UNC reiterated call for a properly formed commission of inquiry, not a hand-picked, unaccountable committee. What are their terms of reference? Whom do they answer to?
MP Saddam Hussein joined by MP Rodney Charles during the opposition's weekly Sunday media conference criticized the process of the selection of the team, saying it was hand-picked and does not foster confidence ahead of the task.
We would be looking at this committee closely. And I want to tell the members of this committee appointed yesterday, we in the UNC will be looking at you closely to see whether you act as purely professional, in a purely professional manner, or whether you operate as a PR handmaiden of the PNM administration.
Cindy Raghubatika Singh, TV6 News.
A 4th wave of COVID-19 has placed the healthcare system of the Bahamas under severe strain. This is according to Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Clarissa Etienne.
A number of Caribbean countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, Aruba, Bahamas, Bermuda, Cuba, Curacao, French Guiana, Jamaica, St. Martin, and Suriname, experienced 100% or more relative increases in COVID-19 hospitalization as compared to the previous week.
The Baja director's comments come as COVID-19 infections accelerate not only in the Bahamas but across the region, and as the highly transmissible Omicron variant has been detected in at least 42 countries and territories in the region. Ministry of Health officials have said since last month that they believe the Omicron variant is behind a record-breaking spike in local COVID cases that has led to thousands of infections. And the medical community has not gone unscathed by the 4th wave, as more than 100 healthcare workers were taken out of the healthcare system earlier this month after catching COVID or being exposed to COVID-positive patients.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.